or Shalom, Shalom, Translate Yasharallah, Kal, Hayimla, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Kaha, Kodash. My name is Gabaga of the Hopeful Election from the Company Prophet in Toronto. Okay, and I want to say, let the elders of the world be kind of worthy of their honors, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine, which are the Presbyterian of Graham Millstone. Okay, I also want to say peace and salutation to all the Akim and the Howes and Bowies, okay, of the Hopeful Elect. Shalom to all of you. I just came across this, I was getting ready to do my video, and I came across this post that the brother, but it goes by GMS, Inspiration of the Almighty, posted. There's like a snippet of the Apostle Har basically saying that, the year, that he has the title for the year already, and, so I had to stop quickly and actually watch it, and, and the spirit moving to actually do a video about it, right? So here it is, here the man on his own words.
I'm jumping the gun, brother. The year, the 2026, I'm giving it to you early. I'm giving it to you, damn, it's freaking, 2 weeks. I'm giving it to you early, right? The 2026, the year of the apostate and the sellouts. The year of the apostates, sellouts, and agents. And some of them are going to be revealed. The agents, I got information.
Yes, there you have it. 2026, the year of apostates, agents, and sellouts. You see, and ultimately, that's the spirit that we're in, man. That's has been the sentiment, going, since the whole thing happened this past year with Sakari and them. And of course, all these other camps, we always get on them, but now, as you can see, these things is hypening up. All these other camps are really being revealed to be false prophets, okay, and it's clear to see that they are not, right? So let me go ahead and grab a couple of scriptures that I came across, or that that I thought about when I saw that. I want to start with this one right here, Malachi 3 verse 17, right? Says verse 18 says, "And then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not." Right? And ultimately, that's where it's going to happen, man. That's what's going to be revealed. Okay, ultimately, telling the scriptures, a fruit is known by, a tree is known by its fruits. Okay, ultimately, it can only hide for so long until, your fruits be revealed. Okay, the fact that, these other camps are not really about this truth, man. It's becoming more and more clear now. Let me also get this as well. The book of Proverbs 24 verse 10. I'll get it in the AMP and then the KJV. It says, if you are slack, careless in the day of distress, your strength is limited. That's the AMP. And in the KJV, it says, if thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. And to me, that's what's happening, man. These guys, their strength is failing, okay? Here it is, it's hardly, Jacob trouble it hasn't even kicked in yet, on the other moments of it, and these guys are already tapping out. They're already tapping out, man. So therefore, their strength is small. Their faith is weak, right? They're not founded, rooted. These guys they're ready to throw in the towel. Okay, that's ultimately why it tells you, that the race is not for the swift. These guys, they were rushing, they're trying to gain that fame, get the notoriety, trying to do everything, but what is a true doctrine, okay, by Yahweh Shai. But so therefore, they were rushing too fast, and they crashed out. You see what happened to Alizé and them. He was flying way too high, it got burnt out, okay, and came out, got exposed big time, right? You see what's happening with Sakari, that the whole camp, basically, is in shambles, all right. Okay, now you have with Genesis, these guys are crashing out on daily, they're coming up with crazy doctrines. Okay, IUCPK, Tazari, Yak and them, talking about building a new society, trying to, thinking that they got time left, in this place, changing their doctrines. Okay, now ultimately, giving warning to our people. Okay, to continue on with these debates. Basically, these guys are not in for the long haul. So I'm going to get that as well. Right, because ultimately this thing is not for the swift. This thing is not, about chasing, likes and, fame and all these things, right? This thing is like a marathon, right? So this is the book of Ecclesiastes 9 verse 11, and it reads, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, right? Let me see. Nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but the time and chance happeneth to them all. It says the race is not for the swift, right? That's what it is as well. This is the words of the Apostle Paul, right? Let me see here. Yeah, start from verse 24. It says, 1 Corinthians 9 verse 24, and it reads, Now know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temporary in all things. These guys, they're not temporary in all things, man. Okay, they focus on one part, okay, and ultimately, they put they try to mingle the truth with everything else instead of having the truth be the center of their focus. Okay, they're not balanced. Okay, they don't know how to separate the profane from the. They don't know how to separate the profane from the not from the profane. It's like, yeah, they don't know how to separate the profane from the clean, right? It says so run that ye may obtain. It's like it says now no they do it security again. So it says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temporary in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible, right? I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as the one that beateth the air, right? But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest by any means that when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. It's another thing too that you guys didn't apply. God didn't apply what you teach, because basically you guys are really, you're hypocrites. Okay, you don't apply what you teach. You don't apply what's in the scriptures. All right. You're beating at the air. With these debates. Debating this, debating that. Trying to basically one up on another on another man, trying to get likes. Coming up with these outlandish, high holidays. Right, it's beating at the air, man. You see. Again, another scripture here. Yeah, this is the book of Zechariah. It's like Zephaniah 1 verse 12. And this is what's going to happen, man. This ultimately is going to be the sifting that's going to come. The sifting that's going to come, ultimately, the MOTB too, that's another thing that's really going to expose a lot of men. The MOTB specifically, I should say, time of Jacob trouble, of course. But once they institute that mark of the beast, that's when, men really are going to be revealed. Right? Who is for this truth and who is not. Who's really about it. Who is really, for Yahweh Shin Yahweh and who is not, man. This book of Zephaniah 1 verse 12, and it reads, and it shall come to pass that at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, right? Which the candles is talking about the prophets. Okay, the troopmen of the Lord, the one that rebuke. Okay, if you're going off there, so we're searching. We're looking at these other camps. Okay, and anything that's going off. Okay, anyone that's going off, it gets it gets searched out and it gets marked, and we compare him, right? It says therefore it's like, and it shall come to pass that and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem. Jerusalem basically is talking about the nation of Israel, because there are people before we were a place. So when you see Jerusalem here, is referring to the nation of Israel. Okay, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right? I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their lease. Right? Ultimately, that's what these guys are doing, man. They're settled on the lease. Okay, they're taking time off. All right, and they are, they're not warning people about the dangers that's coming. They're not warning them about the time of Jacob trouble, mark of the beast. The third world war is about to go down. They're not warning them about the coming destructions, okay, about the day of Lord Yahweh. Basically, they just want to continue with these debates, and getting these Christians to to watch videos. right? It says that and punish the men that are on the list. So the Most High is going to bring the punishment, right? People are going to start getting exposed. Once they get exposed, they're going to get that punishment, man. That say in their heart, the Lord Yahweh, Bashmi Yashai, will not do good, neither will he do evil. I'm gonna close up with this scripture right here. First John 2 verse 19 says, they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us, but they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. So ultimately, these guys are gonna get exposed, man. You guys are not about it. You guys are faking the funk, okay? You're doing everything else that other than bring out the edification, all right? You're taking time off. You're not up on your, you're not up on your watch. Most of gonna discover all and ultimately take away a spirit from you and give it to a brother that's going to actually be more profitable with the ministry, man. Because ultimately, there's a lot of guys that that are really they could be doing more, but they're just relaxed, right? Ultimately, if you're not on fire, by this time, and you should be on fire, man. This is something that should be on your mind 24/7. We're trying to get out of here, man. We're trying to make it out of here and ultimately make it the chariots. We're trying to get our crowns, man. May Yahweh Shai, okay? See our enemies fall, all that good stuff, So you just keep pushing, like ultimately, the most are gonna do what he does, right? He's gonna expose, these fakes amongst us, and ultimately, get rid of them, right? And tells like our prophet of scripture, he that knew the will of his Lord and did not will be beaten with many stripes. All right. So you men out there, even women, because there's women that know the Israelites, but yet they continue to work out, or or basically they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right. It goes for both. The Most is going to sift you out and ultimately expose you and take a spirit from you. You're gonna be left out there, man. All right. So it's time to tighten up. As I'm going to say, Barak Yahweh Shai, Come Shalom, Shalom.